In 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, you're going to become someone. The question to ask yourself is, who is that future self going to be? Welcome back, Jeff Heggie, Daily Success Strategies. Thanks for being with me today. So we're going to become somebody. We're becoming our future self, whether we're intentional about it or we just let it happen. So the question is, what do you need to do to become the future self that you really desire to be? Many people think that their future self is predetermined. They've got a fixed mindset and they don't have a lot of control over who they become. But as you're intentional about your goals and intentional about becoming your future self, you can have a definite impact on becoming that future self. And one thing we know, that your future self is going to be very different than who you are today. Look at yourself 5 years ago. Look at yourself 10 years ago. Look at yourself 20 years ago. You're a very different person than you are today. Now, many people think, yes, I changed a lot then. But my belief is that I won't have very much of a change into the future. That's called the end of history illusion. It's the belief that you substantially changed in the past, but likely won't change much in the future. Well, the truth is, if a stranger could have a conversation with the person you were 10 years ago, it's a very different person than who they would have a conversation with today, as well as a very different person who they would have a conversation with in 10 years. And so it's important to understand where you're going. And one of the things I want to talk about today is what Aristotle called final cause. And the reason I want to talk about this is it's something that I just learned about within the last few months. And I learned about it first from Richie Norton. He's got an upcoming book, releases on August 30th, called AntiTime Management. If you haven't listened to my conversation with Richie about his book, go to jeffhaggie.com/AntiTime Management. You can get it there. But the idea that he put in my head from this book and Aristotle's final cause really had an impact on me. And then I'm going to go into explain that a little bit. But what Aristotle said with final cause is all intelligent human action is intentional and based on sought after causes or ends, meaning our goals are the cause of what we do. So everything we do is based on an end goal. And the way Richie talked about this, he said, organize your life around your dreams, not endlessly towards them. So we know what that future cause is. We know what we want to become. And rather than doing the things that are going to get us there, start acting from there now. Decide who you want to be and act from that identity immediately. And then recently, Benjamin Hardy sent me his book. And in there, he talks about it as well. And the way he says it is think and act from your goal rather than toward your goal. And so that's where I think this is a powerful concept in becoming your future self, becoming the person that you desire to be. Once you identify who you want to be, if you can start acting from that identity rather towards it, you're going to have more control over becoming that person. And so doing that, what you're doing is rather than letting the future come, letting the future happen, you can create it and have a more definite impact on creating that future self, creating that identity that you want to become. So the biggest thing as you establish your goals, establish who you want to become in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, look at who that person is, who you have to become to be that person. Take on that identity, become that person, and act from that goal. So as Richie and Benjamin Hardy were saying, act from the position, organize your life around the dream. Don't work endlessly towards it, as Richie says, or as Benjamin Hardy says, think and act from the goal rather than towards it. So I think these are both powerful concepts to help you become that person you're trying to be, and rather than letting it just happen to you. I'm going to put the links in the show notes for both Richie's book and for Benjamin Hardy's book. They're both excellent books, and I strongly encourage you to get them. But get in the habit of acting from that future self, and don't just let life happen to you. Be intentional, be deliberate on who you're becoming. Thanks for being with me. I'll be back tomorrow. Are you an entrepreneur who wants to discover the breakthrough secrets that will produce the results you've been searching for, but you just can't seem to figure out why you keep working harder and harder and you're just not getting those results? I want to tell you about a new challenge that I've created just for you, the Business Domination Challenge. If you want to create the entrepreneurial lifestyle and the business you dream of, then this is exactly what you're looking for. I created the Business Domination Challenge to show you how to grow your business exponentially and to become an optimal performing entrepreneur. What's an optimal performing entrepreneur? It's an entrepreneur who's succeeding in all areas of their life. If I show you how to build a successful business, but your relationships, your health, and everything else is falling apart, that's not a success. It's not about working harder, it's about implementing the correct principles and becoming the person who can do the things that produce the results. Hurry and go to jeffheggie.com/business domination and secure your spot today.
Hey, athletes and parents of athletes. So much time, money, and effort is put into the physical aspect of your sport to become the best you can be. But the mental game, it's often neglected, and it's just as important as the physical game. In fact, it's usually the differentiator between the good and the great athletes. Come and join me in the Confident Athlete program where you'll learn to control your confidence, develop a powerful mindset, and unlock your full potential. Go to jeffheggie.com/confident athlete to find out more.